Chapter 20. The Cemetery of the Chateau d'If. On the bed, at full length and faintly illuminated by the pale light that came from the window, lay a sack of canvas, and under its rude folds was stretched a long and stiffened form. It was Faria's last winding sheet, a winding sheet which, as the turnkey said, cost so little. Everything was in readiness. A barrier had been placed between Dante and his old friend. No longer could Edmond look into those wide open eyes which had seemed to be so penetrating the mysteries of death. No longer could he clasp the hand which had done so much to make his existence blessed. Faria, the beneficent and cheerful companion, with whom he accustomed to live so intimately, no longer breathed. He seated himself on the edge of that terrible bed, and fell into a melancholy and gloomy reverie. Alone! He was alone again! Again condemned to silence, again face to face with nothingness. Alone! Never again to see the face, never again to hear the voice of the only human being who united him to earth. Was not Faria's fate the better, after all, to solve the problem of life at its source, even at the risk of horrible suffering? The idea of suicide, which his friend had driven away and kept away by his cheerful presence, now hovered like a phantom over the Abbe's dead body. "If I could die," he said, "I should go where he goes, and should assuredly find him again. But how to die? But how to die? It is very easy," he went on with a smile. "I will remain here, rush on the first person that opens the door, strangle him, and then they will guillotine me." But excessive grief is like a storm at sea, where the frail bark is tossed from the depths to the top of the wave. Dante recoiled from the idea of so infamous a death, and passed suddenly from despair to an ardent desire for life and liberty. Okay, now, do I think Dumas has a time machine in which he can listen to podcasts and heard me say, hey, maybe Dante's going to fight his way through the front door and then write this specifically for me saying, I saw what you thought, and we're not going to go there. We're not going to do it. We're not going to get Dante guillotined by fighting his way out the front door of a fortress. How silly I feel right now. Dumas, you made a joke of me. So this passage is like not, super expressive of Dante's emotion, at least in like telling us. But I think if we tap into Dumas' background in theater, we can kind of like, if we take the moment to just go slow and mentally imagine the tableau of Dante slowly emerging into the chamber and slowly approaching the bed, and you can picture the lighting doing a lot of the heavy lifting for the expression, the emotional expression of this moment. Light pouring in, probably like a spotlight through the bars onto the head of the sack where Faria is lying, and a slow warm light illuminating the silhouette of Dante as he crosses the chamber over to his friend lying on the bed. And if you're directing this on stage, you can give this moment some breath. When you're reading it, you can zoom right past it, in 15 seconds, but like in watching it, you could give it a good minute, 30 seconds, minute, let it really sink in, the moment, the atmosphere, the tone of the scene. And I think that is what is being conveyed here. Because it goes so quickly from that into this internal reflection that Dante's having about being alone again. And that is heartbreaking unto itself, but it's not necessarily expressing his feelings for Faria. And I guess his expression of emotion isn't necessary, at least not directly, but Dante goes back into a little bit of, oh, woe is me, navel gazing. Not that it's not deserved. He has been through quite a lot, but he starts thinking about suicide again. And luckily, he doesn't let himself languish in those depths for long. He thinks about it, and he's like, I'm going to go be with my friend again. I'm just going to, like, attack the first dude that comes through here, and they're going to kill me, and all will be well. And then he's like, yeah, but no. I'm just grieving. And he acknowledges the emotion, lets it pass. He feels that desire for life again. It's a real roller coaster of a passage. But chapter 20 here is a short one, and I think I am going to make these episodes, this chapter, brisk and brief so that we really get the sense of what it's like to zip through it as if you're actually reading it. So I will just see you all here tomorrow for more of chapter 20. Until then, okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.